Hello and welcome to Bay One. This is Thursday, the 28th of April. Yeah. And today we're bringing you a quick look at, well, not even quick look, a look at the Epic Loot update for Robocraft. This is a major overhaul for the game. It's changed how, in some ways, how progression works. So yeah, I'm just going to start off by getting the game loaded up because the changes start the moment you log in. So you can see the nice little purpley, pinky graphic they've got with the loot crates and stuff like that. That's probably one of the bigger introductions, and the removal of a tech tree in the game. And we'll see what happens when I actually log in. Here. So first thing we get. Welcome to Epic Loot. There are big changes to RP and GC in this update. Please see robocraftgame.com for details. And you'll see this nice little loot crate. Oops, I just clicked on it. And I get so this was a rusted loot crate. I got a front laser wasp. I get one of those, and a mech 7 jaw left. Okay, so you get parts of cosmetics and stuff like that. So this one here, or this row here, would be the normal low end loot items, and this is a premium loot item. So it's not that these are necessarily any better, because these are both the same rarity. It's just that because I got premium, I get the high-end loot item. Now, with a non-premium account, you still get to see what the loot drop is, but you get a little thingy here that says get this with premium, and at the top of the screen you have a buy premium option there as well. And you've got an option here to buy more crates. So what happens if I click on that? Connecting to the shop, and then it just takes you to actually go and pay for stuff. So that won't show up on the stream because I don't have that enabled. So now let's collect those items, and you get a different reward every time you log in. So the more you log in terms of day-to-day logins, the more rewards you get. Now this is a robot I built prior to this update, which is probably not going to be so good. I know I built something as a somewhat amusing robot for this, but anyway. Yeah, so what changes when you actually get into the game? Now, probably the things that are most significant for... Oh god, how do I enable mouse? There we go. Most significant are that you'll see up here in the top left corner, you've now lost your RP, or whatever you called RP, it used to be called Robo Points, has now been cut by a factor of 63, which is a weird amount, but apparently it gave Free Jam some good numbers. So whereas I had like 6 million or something like that, now I have 186,000, which this is now what you use to either buy robots from the CRF or other things. And I also had some premium, which I think I spent all of my premium money. And that's not going to show up because it's all been magically transformed into whatever. But I spent it all on actual premium time. It's not Galaxy Cash. What it was called, real time money or something. Yeah, Galaxy Cash is gone. Let's put it that way. So I've got the buttons. This is now add crates, where I can go and buy crates, and add premium, where I can go and buy premium. And now we've got here, which is a new dialog, which is a recycler window. So basically you can get anything you have here and recycle it into the new Robits currency. And you've got different amounts that you get for different kinds of item. Let's go and find, and you'll see all these different colors based on the rarity of the item. So these are legendary, epic, rare, uncommon, and common is the grey stuff. And so like for a wheel monster, if I recycle this I will get 12,500, but if I have to go and manufacture one of those, it will cost a lot more. So it costs about 4 times the amount to manufacture than it does to recycle. But recycling is pretty easy. Everyone has access, as far as I can tell, to every item on this board. So from the get out, so long as you can get the Robits together, you can basically manufacture whatever you want. It's just obviously it's going to take you a lot longer to get 50,000 robits than it will to get 840 robits. And then, of course, whatever you get from the loot crates, you've got the option to recycle. Now, the interesting thing about the Forge is it also means you have full access to pretty much every cosmetic in the game as well. So you'll now be able to create these without having to pay for them. But obviously, they do have a pretty high cost associated with them. And hello, Ninnaman, welcome. So that also means you can get the Yogscast, hollow flags and all of that kind of stuff, which is pretty cool. But yeah, so you can now get all the glass cubes as well. So I could now go and manufacture a bunch of these glass cubes and it won't cost me all that much. In terms of manufacturing these ones, these are still 10. So, I mean, these used to cost 10 RP to begin with. So, although the amount you get or your robits have been kind of reduced, they didn't reduce the cost of the bottom end items by the same factor. I mean, that would never have happened anyway, so that's a little bit odd. I would have expected these to now be 1, but they're not. They're stayed at 10, so with 6 million, I could have bought 600,000 of these cubes. Now with what I've been reduced to 180,000, I can now buy 18,000 cubes. That's kind of a huge difference. So how this number matches up with the new prices is a little bit odd. So that's definitely not a good value proposition. But it is what it is. Unfortunately, we can't change any of that. And now if we go to the robot factory, this is where things get a little bit more interesting. You'll see we've got the full forge cost. So this is in the event that I have none of the items, or I've got the inventory forge cost. So basically anything that I can manufacture purely from, from what I actually have stored is free. It's not going to cost me anything to actually manufacture this item. Now that's going to cause some issues with some players where they were not issues really, but they were reliant on getting money coming through. And if you don't know, when you were selling items on the robot factory, you were actually you were getting 10% of the value. Oh, this is a little bit odd. Wow, that's coming up at 4 billion. There's a bug. Hey, FreeJam, found you a bug. You cannot, and I can't buy anything as I've got the maximum slots anyway. But the nice thing is you can highlight this and it's as easy as actually just clicking on that, or you can go in here and do I have any of my bots? I still can't buy any of my own bots, which sucks. I would like a way just to be able to quickly clone my stuff. Either way. Yeah, so you'll see a lot of this stuff is actually free because it's not free really. I've just got all of the stuff to actually manufacture them, which is going to get rid of the entire problem where people already had the weapons, they already had a lot of the items, and they just wanted the frame. And you would find a lot of robots on the CRF that had no weapons or anything like that. And that's a really bad thing for new players. So this is actually a really good and positive change. This is probably the thing I like most about this update. Unfortunately, you're going to have to wait for a lot of the frames to disappear from the store in the short term, which there's a lot of things that have still got like 30-day expirations on them. So a lot of this stuff is going to have to disappear until you actually get functional robots back in here again. It'd be nice if FreeJam actually cleaned this up themselves, but I mean, it's kind of cool. I like that part at least myself, and I've got no earnings to collect, so bleh, no one's bought my stuff in ages. So yeah, you got the forge. Forging something's really easy. So if I just want to forge one of these, see that's the number of robots it's going to cost. Or I can press Control and add still multiples. No, I can't add multiples anymore. I have to click individually. Oh, that sucks. Fix this, please. I want to be able to forge mass amounts of these, not be stuck clicking individuals amounts to be able to forge these items. But say I want one of those cubes. Oh no, that's a recycle. Oops, wrong one. Let's try the forge. That might explain things. No, it's still only adding one to the thing. So the holding control and adding multiple to the queue doesn't work anymore. So that's going to get irritating quickly, especially if you need to, say, buy 300 or 400 of these cubes, which I do routinely. As you can tell, I've got like 8,000 or 3,000 of those. When you're in the middle of a build, you don't want to be stuck clicking over and over. So that's something that's going to be an irritant. I think FreeJam will have to look at that. But let's say, okay, so this is going to cost me 27.90. Let's just add another one of these to make it an even number. 2800 forge. So the same confirmation dialog. And now that's been created. And the same thing happens for weapons, etc. Let's say I needed to go and create some of these weapons. Like I've got one of these. I'm out of disintegrators. I need to add a few of those. So that's going to cost me 3,900. Let's forge those. So it's nice and good. You've got access to everything from the get-go, and it's going to make it a lot more accessible for newer players in terms of seeing the full variety of what can be done. And it also makes it easier for you to plan builds from the get-go. Now, how do things change for the battle side of things? We'll have to get into that, but probably the biggest thing to take into account now is a lot of these weapons have changed values. Now, I built this frame so that I can actually provide you a demonstration of how this works. So you'll have, I've got the disintegrators on here at the moment, I think. So there's still 26 CPU, and I have the single gun fire rate is 1.69 per second. Nominal fire rate is 4.22. Nominal means, and the nominal count is 6 guns. So if you have 6 guns, you will fire at 4.22 shots per second, whereas with a single gun, you'll fire at 1.69. Just to explain that. So let's go to test mode. Ninnaman, I won't be doing any platoony type things in this. I'm literally just trying to get through the information on here. So no movement dynamics have changed or anything like that, but if I actually go to fire the weapons, you'll see the rate of fire is much reduced. And of course my gun placement isn't particularly optimal because I'm hitting my guns in front. You'll see that's where those, some projectiles just aren't going out there. But energy's lasting a pretty good amount of time. So, I mean, previously you would have been spamming fire a little bit more than that. And now let's go back to Mothership and strip those off and put on the low SMGs so that we can see what the difference is. So let's go and grab these. Where are they? Let's put the wasps on here. So make sure clone mode is on, or mirror mode, or whatever you want to call it. And now let's put some wasps on here. Ooh, I've still got a main gun on there. Here we go. So wasp. Okay, so now I've got, I mean, the number won't matter. I can just drop this down to, what is it, 6 just to make it even. Let's take that rear one off. And now go to test, and we'll see what the difference is. Now the difference is that up close, I've got 6 very small guns, but because of the rate of fire, they will do a lot more damage than the bigger guns. So there's something like a 10 to 15% difference in terms of DPS. So you'll just see the energy on these is barely shifting, so I can just keep this up almost forever. But yeah, if you're energy depleted, then the rate of fire on these, or the damage output on these, is going to be significantly higher than the damage output on the bigger weapons. Now the nominal fire rate on these is again for 6 guns, but the actual DPS is considerably more. So I'm going to be, just because of the number of projectiles I'm pushing out, the DPS on this is going to be, I think we worked it out for a single weapon. It's a lot. So, and unfortunately I can't show it in this mode. I mean, if I go to the, how many robits I get for 10 million, Not that many. I was reduced to 180,000 for having 6 million, so for 10 million I'd expect around 250 or 200,000, something like that. I don't know. So where was I? Let's go, and I'm going to do a single player game just so you can see what the real damage difference is here. Hi Zakura, you're Polish. Well, welcome to the stream. Anyway, so let's find, there's a robot to kill. So accuracy sucks, but when I can actually hit, God, I suck with SMGs. I mean, that was relatively quick. Let's try and give this another couple of things. And the other cool thing is that you do get loot crates for doing single player mode as well. So, although we'll see if I even get a loot crate, because I think you have to kill a minimum number of things. Well, these are horrendously inaccurate. Obviously, burst fire might help. Wow, I suck with these things, and everything's going for me now. No! I've got some issues with the gun placement on this model, but come on, move away. There we go. Alright, so back to Mothership. So you got to get a feel for the general time to kill that was taking. And now let's go and edit robot. Now the other thing is all of these blocks have actually had a major increase in health. So instead of having around 1100 health, they've now got 1400. So it's about a 25% increase on the low items. So now let me grab... Oh, did I have disintegrators? Oh, I manufactured carbon disintegrators, my bad. Okay, anyway, so... let's go ahead and put on these weapons back on. And did I have one in the middle? No, that's the 6. Okay, and now I'll go back to single player. And this is going to be the difference using those weapons. Now I'm going to have to hunt around a little bit to actually find those robots somewhere. There's one over there. So these are a lot more accurate. You see the projectiles aren't spraying all over the place, and I do more damage per hit, but obviously the time to kill, I mean, this is a similar size robot to the other thing. This close, I should be, you know, previously I'd have been decimating that a lot more quickly. So as long as I get the hits, then it's not so bad, but yeah, the small guns definitely not so good any kind of range, to be honest, so that's a little bit weird. I think you might actually see some more damage increase on that, given that their hit points haven't been increased. And now see, this is a big difference. I'm energy drained now, whereas I was still being able to fire pretty much at full capacity previously, and I'm almost back down to no energy again. So now if I'm stuck in this kind of combat, my damage output has reduced significantly, whereas with the small guns I could have just kept shooting almost infinitely because they were using no energy whatsoever. So now I'm down from the full damage that I had, and now I'm running at, I'm guessing based on the energy, probably about half of that. So that's going to make a change, although this is a lot more accurate. Come on, I can't hit anything with these. So yeah, that's something definitely to take into account. If you need to keep up a solid amount of DPS, then definitely going with the smaller weapons will be better. Now, the other question with this will the um, will the medium guns make any difference? So let's go and edit the robot, and I'm doing a little bit more analysis on here than I probably really should be. So we had the disintegrator, we had that. Now let's go with the top blasters, strip these off, and put 6 top blasters on here, and see how they feel in general combat. So we want those there. Okay, so same rough positioning, single player. I think you might see, if people are going for redundancy, robots with a lot more medium tier guns as opposed to high tier. The problem is that the medium guns have a lot less hit points, so a single plasma volley will destroy all of these guns in no time at all, which that's an issue. See, the time to kill with these is a lot quicker. So the low ones are just a little bit too inaccurate. These just feel a lot nicer. Come on. And I'm not running into issues with any energy on that. So in terms of just keeping the rate of fire up, these seem like a more viable option. Come on. Come on. Go, 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 go. You're just pushing me along the ground here, aren't you? You're insistent on doing that. Come on. So these just feel a lot better overall. It's more like classic Robocraft in terms of how the combat kind of feels on that, but and the accuracy means that I can actually hit things, whereas with the low ones, yeah, you can spam fire, but the fall off and the damage output just doesn't feel very good. Whereas the full oh god. This is not going to end well. Come on. I need another kill just to get a loot crate from this. If I had Teslas, I'd be dominating here. There'd be no question. So I managed to get a loot crate. Awesome. Anyway, let's end it on that. Back to Mothership. And do I get a crate actually coming out of that? Yeah, I do. What do I get? Mech 7 Nose and a Hoverblade Thunder. And only one of each. So rewards of, I don't know if that's good or bad or what, so we'll have to see how that works. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of how things are changing. The different game modes, you'll have Battle Arena, actually you'll get 4 loot crates at the end of it. I think the Pit you only get 3 and Team Deathmatch you get 2. I'm not too sure about that. Single player, that lower and higher tiers are mixed. Well, I mean, the thing that FreeJam have made an effort to do is to try and level the playing field. So just because there was a robot in single player that had huge weapons on it, the rate of fire of those weapons is relatively low. So let's see if I can give you an actual better indication of that. So the Leviathan, the fire rate is now, yeah, it's still pretty high considering. It still fires a lot faster than the disintegrator, but you know, given the 2 barrels, it's, I don't know. Maybe that's not such a good thing. I'm looking at this and the damage output, damage 1400, 2400. So I mean, these are a lot bigger, obviously, but I take them off. I take away more of the DPS. So okay, so the fire rate isn't really that much reduced on those weapons. They're still going to be about the same. Anyway, so anything else that I need to cover on this video? Let's find out. You get the daily crate when you log in, so the more days you log in a row, you'll get better crates. So on the first day you'll get a rusty crate. Each consecutive you're upgraded, so the next day you'll get a bronze, silver, gold, diamond and protonium on the 6th day. Forge costs, they're kind of a little bit over the place. I'm surprised the forge cost on the normal blocks didn't go down to 1, whereas, I mean, because these cost, oh, now they're showing up as 1 in terms of the forge cost. No, that's recycle cost. Yeah, the forge costs on these cost 10 RP to begin with, and they still cost 10 robits, so that's a little bit questionable. Galaxy Cache. I know there's a big controversy about the whole Galaxy Cache thing. It's gone away. I've got some invisible Galaxy Cache here anyway. All it does is it applies an invisible discount to whatever I'm trying to buy. Especially if you're trying to use it for in-game items. I mean, you just get in... I'm sorry, you're not seeing this on here. I'm clicking on things to try and buy things, and it's taking me to the Steam payment window. They've gone away from the in-game currency to rather trying to use actual currency, which I can kind of understand the reason for that. You don't really want to be holding amounts of players' cash within your system, because there's it just gets a little bit weird. So yeah, I can't really show you the invisible balance thing because apparently I don't seem to have a balance, and that's going to take a few days for them to show. Now, you wanted to see the rate of fire of a single Leviathan, which is good because I've actually got a robot just for that. So let's go and test the robot. So the rate of fire, this is actually much reduced over the previous version of the game. So the rate of fire on this has gone down, but how are we going to test that out in the actual game? So let's go to single player mode and see how this works. So single player. Hurry up, come on. Now I've got to go and find something to shoot. Ah, so heavy! There we go. So time to kill with these is pretty low because of the raw amount of damage I'm dealing. Come on. And if I could actually use lasers under this version of the game, I would be amazing, but I'm not very good. Come on. Can't hit you. Come back. There we go. Always forget to lead them properly. Okay, so I mean the other thing this leaves you open to is, so this was built as a challenge, it's like 450 CPU or something like that. It does leave you open to at least having somewhat effective robots that have a mix of a few weapons. God, balance issues. And I'm going to finish this so that I get the loot crate. Come on. There we go. Back to mothership. So in terms of what do I get for rewards, again, I get a rusted crate. I have to click, and I get 20 of those blocks and 20 of these blocks, and that's from premium. So yeah, you're not really getting anything different between the two sides of things, other than I get 2 chances instead of 1. So not so sure about the actual rewards you get there. Obviously, I've only been getting rusty crates. I haven't got any protonium crates or anything like that, and I don't have the time at the moment to go and test that out. But I mean, with the store, with the shop, community robot factory, other changes, time to kills increased obviously, so all of the blocks have more hit points, at least all of the normal parts, and the electroplates. Oh, that's the other thing, electroplates, and this is something you may not have noticed. There were previously 2 sets of electroplates, so you would have the normal electroplates, and then you would have the tier 10 electroplates. The standard electroplates have now gone, so you're now back to just having the 1 set of electroplates. Now, if you had the cheaper standard electroplates previously, they've all automatically been upgraded to the higher end electroplates. So for anyone that had a lot of this stuff, you've just basically got a bunch of 3 high tier items because you had the low tier items before. Now, that also applies to any that were on existing bots. So I'm not sure if I've got a bot that I can demonstrate this on. This, I think this actually only had the 7s on it, but now this has the, yeah, this was all the ones that had like the stripes on. Now they've been all upgraded automatically to the correct electroplates. So that's a nice change. Let's check out this one. The same thing here. So this had the striped electroplates on it. Now it's actually got the full tier 10 electroplates, and all of these. So that's already been taken care of automatically. So that, you know, it's a free upgrade for players that had those. Yes, when you are not premium, you get a crate. It shows you what you could have got, the animation. It just does not give it to you. So yeah, the difference is with that loot crate that was coming up, the one that's in the front is what you're definitely getting. If you don't have premium, the one that is showing in this area of the screen on the pedestal is the premium item. And you can hover over it and it'll say available with premium, and it'll also have a button at the middle top of the screen saying buy premium or something like that. I mean, it's a little bit weird you hovering over it. The button should probably be on the little dialogue there. That's just a user interface thing. That's what I do for a living, so whatever. So either way, overall, I think that's pretty much everything that matters. Oh yeah, some other changes. Proto Seeker was changed from uncommon to rare because too many Proto Seekers were getting dropped in loot crates, which is kind of sad for new players. And the new special super rare setting has been added to reduce the number of hollow flags that actually come up. So you can still manufacture these to your heart's content, but there were a lot of these actually being dropped in the, what do we call, in the loot crates. So these, although they're considered rare, they're actually kind of a super rare item to prevent a lot of the hollow flags from appearing too often, but mostly because there's so many of them. But either way, so I'm going to end the video on this. I'm not going to show any gameplay because gameplay itself will have changed a little bit, but that needs to be done in its own video. I'm going to thank everyone for tuning in and watching, and Imposter, please stop with the language on the stream and that kind of stuff. It's really irritating, and all it'll end up is that I permaban you from the channel. So either way, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you around. Goodbye.